All right, cool. We are live. I see Nitram Case is in the building. I see Baba is here, and I see our colleague, friend, brother, and family of the show. Warren is here also. So let's get us straight on Rockfin. Rockfin is acting right now. Earlier today, man, I was having so much problem trying to put this show on Rockfin, but we got it. And so the topics. First of all, let me stop. Where are my manners? Been a whole week since we've seen each other. So how are we doing today, Chris? If you heard me, you there, Chris? Oh, he might be frozen. Well, until Chris comes back in, I guess I'm going ahead and announce the show. I just noticed that we've been seeing a lot of stuff going on with Desantis, so I definitely wanted to do a show so we can touch bases on some of the different things that have been going on with Desantis. Yeah, I guess Chris will pop back in when he is ready. Also, I wanted to talk about the whole Marjorie Taylor Greene versus Bowman and some of that stuff and what it's all about in the first place. A lot of us, like me, for example, didn't hear anything about it until we started hearing about what Marjorie Taylor Greene was saying. And so I wanted to actually go back to the heart of what this whole thing is even about. And, we'll give some of our thoughts on it. And then this video that I ran across about AI, it left open a conversation, some things that I want to talk about as far as the whole AI stuff. And then I heard some interesting news from about Instagram. So that's some of the topics that I wanted to get into tonight. Of course, as this show goes, we'll probably jump off into a couple of other different things. So that said, we'll see where the show goes. To those who are coming in on the Rockfin side, welcome. Thank you for joining us. For those who who will come in later on, make sure to just give a hello, how you doing? Let me know that you're there. Please give a like if you can. Or if you don't like the show, give us a dislike. Just either way, it helps the algorithm. And then for those who will be watching on Twitter or whichever other ways which you are watching us. So that said, I will go on again. Oh, I see Mr. Streets is in the building. Oh yeah, also, I did want to mention I see Miguel. We are going to open it up a little bit later on for anybody who wanted to hop on the show, want to join. I will be throwing a link out there. You guys can hop in. If you guys want to talk about some of the topics that we're talking about tonight, great. I love to hear your thoughts and opinions, whether I agree or disagree. I do just enjoy the dialogue. And if it's something else that's outside of these topics, that's perfectly fine also. So that said, let's see, Chris, there's something wrong with Instagram. Oh goodness. It's not something wrong. No, I'll save that for a moment. So I guess we're going ahead and we will start the intro and then get Chris on it. Dang it. I had it up and then I just clicked it out. Let's see, get that back on the screen. I keep opening way too many links. Just letting you all know.
You were here because you have a question. Really get down to understanding this political matrix.
Out there, the stunt double. He walked out. He's got an oximeter on his back. I'm like, you gotta keep Marcus said on his other show. He was like, American politics is simply pro wrestling.
You became afraid of everyone because people were reporting on each other.
We're living out Minority Report too as well. And you know why? You know why we know that, Bob? Because we've been reporting on it. Yeah, I know.
All the black people in this country be willing to take a reservation.
That's what the Nation of Islam was asking for.
Put a couple of clips together.
it's crazy to see how much Martin Luther King really began to look like, damn, man, Malcolm was fucking right.
I mean, what is the elite's end game?
There's this assumption that as a black commentator or black journalist that you're not informed.
Relationships, that's a skill we have to learn. It's even more kind of mind-blowing because we're supposed to be the multicultural space.
Trying to drum up money to keep the war machine going so they can keep the donors happy.
Yeah. Do the Chinese own part of that?
Began a long time ago. Ukraine has had a neo-Nazi problem for decades.
Proof of sanction, am I right?
I don't know if domcopters will do it, but something's got to be able to save the world.
From the private industry here.
You know, like I say, people come on here and they can say stuff they don't normally say. On their own shows, which is fine.
Oh, it's McDonald's. Do.
Ooh.
And their cholesterol is going to go down. Yeah, good.
Look, we only exist because we have the biggest military, kid.
And silencing a person like Julian Assange. Because it affects everybody. And today, last week, believe you me, because they know who you are. They watch. They got people that's going out there. They don't want you guys having the conversations that you're having on this show. Mm-hmm. So it affects the political matrix today.
All right. Welcome to the Political Matrix. Of course, I am Marcus or Young Morpheus. So let's go ahead and hop into the story until Chris gets in here. That way, it'll save more time for you all to hop in and add in your, I guess, perspective on the different topics, or if there's something else that you guys wanted to talk about. So I guess I will put this first story up. I won't waste too much time. And since Chris already brought up the is there something wrong with Instagram, I figure I will start with this story first. So let's bring you back on the screen. Instagram readies Twitter competitor for summer release. Company has been secretly testing app ideas with celebrities. Instagram app may eventually connect with Mastodon network. So let's read a little bit of this article. No, Bloomberg, I'm not claiming it. Oh, damn, can't read this one. Nope, not signing into it. So let me back out of this and see if I find another one. I saw it. Let's see if this one's good. It says trading Elon for Zuckerberg. And this says Twitter sucks, and it looks like Instagram is coming for its users. Leah Haberman first reported in her ICYMI Substack that Instagram is building a social media platform that resembles an amalgamation of the two social media giants. In the screenshot Haberman shared, the app was called Instagram's new text-based app for conversation, but she reported that internally it's being called P92, Project 92, or Barcelona. Interestingly, unlike Meta's Facebook or Instagram, the app will be decentralized. Soon, our app will be compatible with certain other apps like Mastodon, Instagram's slide readers. Users on the other apps will be able to search for, follow, and interact with your profile and content if you're public, or if you're private and approve them as followers. So here's her tweet. And I guess that's, I don't know if that's what it's supposed to look like or not. I don't know what they're calling it yet, but that is the story of what's going on with Instagram. Quick story, but I thought it was worthwhile mentioning because of the fact of, let's pull that off the screen. I thought it was worthwhile mentioning because with some of the stuff that's went on with it, I know that there is a lot of people who have been unhappy with Elon taking over. And it's strange for me to say, but a lot of the people who kind of fall into the lanes where most of us do, where we criticize the right, we criticize the left, we kind of get, or let me make sure I put the disclaimer, the Democratic Party left. I'm not talking about actual leftists, which we do criticize some of them occasionally. And anything from, slightly to the right to, hard right. We do criticize a lot of them. Not saying that there are not things that we agree with either side on, but that's part of it. Choosy says, what's up with Bubba's? It's something going on with his internet. We're trying to figure that out. He was having some problems last week too. So we will see. Hopefully he'll be able to get it worked out and be on. So all roads lead to the Knights of Malta. Okay. Chris says, might be a bad move for Instagram because I heard that Mastodon is messy and disorganized and can be difficult to navigate. That's interesting. I don't know very much about Mastodon. If you guys know about Mastodon, please let me know. I'm not familiar with Mastodon at all. And I also kind of wonder, like, if Instagram is part of Facebook, it kind of already has that model. I mean, Twitter is kind of like, it's kind of more of, it kind of seems more like I don't know, just a different version of Facebook. So, I mean, I don't really know how that's going to work. It's just turned that Twitter became the more popular site. And so people went over to it. I mean, for instance, I see now the discourse is pretty much the same as on Facebook. The only difference between Facebook and Twitter now is, I guess, the nudity aspect on Twitter. Whereas everybody I know, or I somehow always get into these groups where, hey, post your topless shirt. I mean, talking about men, of course, or women post your most skimpiest outfits. And I see a lot of that stuff. But I remember I stopped getting into political discord on Facebook because I felt like it started going more and more to the right and started becoming more dominated by the right. And so I kind of decided, this is not, I'm just going to stick with my family and friends who are on here. And even if some of you guys have different viewpoints, we'll just kind of keep it, paying attention to people's graduations and, vacations and, fun stuff and remembering the 80s or 90s or whatever, because that's what it seems like it's turned a lot into, or watching people's kids grow up. But Twitter has gotten, no, Miguel says Truth Social 2.0. I don't know. I stay the hell away from Truth Social. That's kind of what Twitter feels like it's turning into. And it's kind of funny to me because Elon said that he was going to be getting rid of all the bots. Well, it seemed like what he did is he got rid of all the Democratic bots, or gotten rid of at least most of them. But it's a free reign for conservative bots to be on. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Where's my Twitter? I'll show you guys if I can find it real quick. I basically, I'm not going to say I found this ring. Somebody else found the ring of conservative bots. Let's see. Let's switch accounts real quick. And I'm probably going to stay on that one. Skip for now. So let's see. Yeah, on my replies, let me show you guys what I found. And I'll show you and the reason why I was able to look at it and notice when the person showed me that it was definitely a kind of a bot thing is because it's the same way I decide if I'm going to, because when I first got on the Twitter, I would basically if you friended me, I would give you a follow back, just, out of a common courtesy. And then I had to start being really careful about who I would friend back because I started noticing that they are bots. Well, how did I start noticing that these were bots? When you start seeing anomalies which don't add up. Case in point right here. These 4 accounts right here. Now, this one already, I'm going to be blocked from one of them. Okay, let's click on this first one. This is Brandy. Brandy here has been on, supposedly been on since February 2021, and has only did 68 tweets, and somehow has 62,000 followers. That doesn't add up. And if, oh, wait a minute, let me go back. Let's click Brandy again. Let's look at one of her latest tweets. And here's an example of these follower trains. Now, retweeted out, President Donald Trump is a national treasure. He is clearly the greatest president. You know, drop a heart if you like and follow. Well, if you go to that very account there, because that's one of the accounts that I tagged there, Jennifer, 121,000 followers, 40 tweets. I thought I heard Chris, but now my internet's freezing up. There we go. Yes, bots boost each other. So we have that one there with, we have this one here with this Jennifer character. No. You can probably go down hers pretty quickly and find another. And my internet is doing some weird stuff right now. Okay, I'll just back up and I'll go back to my tweet. I think it's which one, Amanda, or that has me blocked. Yeah, this one has me blocked. This is the bigger account. I think it's somewhere around 200 something thousand, 325 tweets, and I think they started around 2 years ago. Lauren, Montana. Here's the other one. 76 tweets. Started June 2022 and has 42,000 followers. Now, if you had some kind of public profile, you were some kind of Instagram influencer, if you were TikTok, something like that, okay. But these pictures, kind of just the style wise, look all very, very similar. And they all tweet the same stuff. This tweet here that I retweeted says, prime example of how troll farms grow fake accounts around clickbait topics, no internet footprint, use generic pretty girl profiles, beg followers and retweets. Once the account has substantial followers, it unfollows. So I don't know how much of that you came into, Chris. This is one I was talking about, how Elon Musk said that he was going to get rid of all these bots. And then what it looks like he did is he got rid of the neoliberal Democratic bots, but it's turning a blind eye to all of these conservative bots.
But you know what, too? That crowd is more than likely the type to make several accounts, multiple accounts.
There's one thing, I reported somebody on one of their tweets. And do you know, I saw the same tweet word for word from at least like 7 or 8 other accounts. So what tells me is, remember how you had the whole Sally Albright thing? And I know most of you guys who were formerly leftists definitely remember Sally Albright. And she would just have these just tons and tons of bot farms. This is what we're starting to see on Twitter quite a bit. And what I was saying is, I was talking about the Instagram news. Did you hear that part, Chris?
No, what happened with Instagram?
Instagram is working on, in June, releasing their own app that's supposed to be a competitor to Twitter. I see we got a little bit of a delay, so
yeah, sorry about that.
No,
That's
you're good.
kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. I mean, how much? I don't even know if the average Instagram user is going to find it. I mean, use it. I guess if they make it easier to send pictures and get likes, I suppose it could work. But you know,
But
I don't know.
in all honesty, how is it? How would that be any different than Facebook?
Yeah, for real, right?
Because the only difference with Facebook is typically you are putting a picture with what you're commenting.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the difference. In fact, let me go to my Facebook right now. And I'll just go home. Oh, why it's showing me my messages on the screen? Click that off. But so I'm gonna switch over because I know you probably haven't been on Facebook in a while. But we all know how Twitter. We all know how Twitter. Yeah, we all know how Twitter operates, right? How it's set up, how it functions. Let me put my Facebook on right now. That way you all can see the difference for who haven't been on in a while. All right, here it is. So let's just put up my latest TikTok. The only difference is with Facebook, it's going to have a little bit more information. Me, since I'm semi-public, I don't care that you guys know where I went to college and, you know, hometown and where I went to high school and all that. Different videos that I've done. So the only thing is it shares my Instagram, combines them together. So for every video, typically, you know, and the difference is it shows pictures of my followers. As you can see, there's Jimmy right there, Man of Talk. So here, I'm just, well, and then also it'll show, it kind of shows my feed, but it'll show different people in here. But, I mean, look at it. It's not much. I mean, I guess the difference is it just kind of has more pictures. That's all. I mean, it's not showing anything different. Not showing much difference. Well, this is going through my feed. So my feed mostly is going to have just show information. I don't really do much on Facebook besides, you know, message back and forth to family and old classmates and stuff. Choosy says, sorry, I'm a bore about all these other platforms. YouTube alone is ruining me. Kill me, Mom. Well, I get it. I mean, I was on Facebook for much longer. I mean, as you guys can see, I've been on Facebook since 2008. So I've been on there for quite some time. And the difference is out of that, 1,500 followers, I probably know at least 1,000 of them. You know, personally, either grown up with them, school, worked with, whereas I probably have talked to the people on Twitter, maybe 10 people out of the 3,000 that follow me on one account. Or if you combine them all together, I don't really know a lot of these people outside of just, you know, Twitter. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, Twitter is far better than Instagram. A lot of the stuff you see on Instagram actually are screenshots of Twitter. If you're paying attention, you can see it. It just, you know, it's there for like thirst trap pictures by the chicks, you know, dudes.
Yeah.
You know, dudes doing whatever it is they do. I mean, there's a couple of like original things that are all right on there, like all the like National Geographic type stuff, animals in the wild. You know, that stuff is very interesting whenever they show vacation locales. You know, that's very interesting. But all of the jokes and the funny stuff for the most part is starting on Twitter.
So like my Instagram mostly is more dealing with kind of humor, in a sense. I mean, mine, yeah. I mean, it's. The only thing is, I feel like
For real,
Instagram is
yeah.
always just more about pictures. It's more about the pictures than anything, and it also throws you a lot more advertisements. What in the heck? Okay. Some of my friends
What
post some
happened?
different stuff. They post some different
Oh.
stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. You know, some of my friends, especially some that I grew up with, who are still on the Facebook side, pretty much like they predominantly post thirsty stuff. I'll say that. Basically, it's perfect for the gram. Like I was telling people, I said it was a time when Facebook and Instagram, you know, they were big about, you know, showing, like, you know, people have all these follow groups, and it's always these you know, PTA moms who decide that they want to go put on lingerie and hop online and get in some private group and put a bunch of pictures up. And I guess Instagram, the only thing is now they've capitalized and went a step above that and became the primary spot for fans only, you know, advertisement. Yeah, IG is more censored. Twitter, yeah, Twitter is anything goes. I mean, darn near. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing, you know, illegal stuff on there eventually. And if you get what I'm saying, illegal stuff. Illegal stuff. I think I gotta go more clear than that. So that was that one. Let's go ahead and let me pull this out. And I want to go with the AI. I think I want to go with the AI clip. Because I still want to. I'm gonna kind of run us through these, and I will leave it open for. I'll leave it open for everybody to be able to hop on here in a minute. Let's see.
Yeah, IG is crazy, like with the censorship, and you know the people on IG, they can't deal with the smoke. Like, I mean, but then again, people on Twitter are quick to block too. So I mean, it is what it is, right?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't even know people blocking people on Instagram.
Oh yeah, if you want to find like if you want to find a funny page that goes into stupid politics, check Talib Kweli. His page is ridiculous.
Wow. So let's see. Here it is. This is the one. All right, let's pause this. Let's put this on the screen. Stop. And now, granted, I'll tell you guys, you do gotta really. I got the clip ready now. You gotta really like double check some of the stuff you see on TikTok. I'll give it to you this: their search algorithm gives you what you're looking for. Like, if you ask for, you know, job sites where undocumented decide to not work, you can find those videos like it's nothing. YouTube, I type that in, you can barely even find it. I mean, on on TikTok, you can find literal videos, and we'll go into that a little bit later on. But let me put this on the screen. This is the AI story that I want to show you. And then I got another video to pair with that from, what was it, Hamza? I think Hamza sent it to me. So check this out.
Oh, but actually, English and computer code are just two different kinds of language. So this is a real example. GPT, find me a vulnerability, then write code to exploit it. So here's what I put into GPT, describe any vulnerabilities you may find in foreign code. I take code from an email server, and then write a Perl script to exploit them. And very quickly, it will be the code to exploit that security vulnerability.
So if you have the code of the Wi-Fi router and you wanted to exploit it and then do that, you get the idea. These things can compound on each other.
New technology, really out in the last 3 months, lets you listen to just 3 seconds of somebody's voice and then continue speaking. You can't now, right? And so how do we expect this to start rolling out into the world? Well, you can imagine someone calling up your kid and getting a little bit of their voice, just, oh, sorry, I got the wrong number, then using your child's voice calling you and saying, hey, mom, hey, dad, forgot my social security number, I'm applying for a job, would you mind reminding me? And actually, we were thinking about this as we wrote.
We're thinking about this example conceptually, yeah. And then it turned out, and then in the last week,
within a week, it turned out other people figured it out too and started scamming people. You have an example about like the locks of society.
Yeah, think of it as, I mean, anything that's authentication based, you call your bank, and I'm who I say I am. Anything that depends on that verification, it's as if all these locks that are locking all the doors in our society, we just unlocked all those locks.
What nukes are to the physical world, AI is to the virtual and symbolic world. And what he meant by that was that everything human beings do runs on top of language, which is, you train these models on all of the internet, so it's seen many different languages, but then you only train them to answer questions in English. So it's learned how to answer questions in English. You increase the model size, and at some point, boom, it starts being able to do question and answers in Persian. No one knows why. Here's another example. So AI develops theory of mind. Theory of mind is the ability to model what somebody else is thinking. It's what enables strategic thinking. In 2018, GPT had no theory of mind. In 2019, barely any theory of mind. In 2020, it starts to develop the strategy level of a 4-year-old. By 2022, January, it's developed the strategy level of a 7-year-old. And by November of last year, it's developed almost the strategy level of a 9-year-old. Now, here's the really creepy thing. We only discovered that AI had grown this capability last month.
It had been out for, what, 2 years?
2 years, yeah. Right now, it turns out it is better at doing research chemistry than many of the AIs that were specifically trained for doing research chemistry. So if you want to know how to go to Home Depot and from that create nerve gas, turns out we just shipped that ability to over 100 million people.
And we didn't know. It was also something that was just in the model, but people found out later, after it was shipped, that it had research-grade chemistry knowledge.
And as we've talked to a number of AI researchers, what they tell us is that there is no way to know. We do not have the technology to know what else is in these models. So what happens when you have, for the very first time, non-humans being able to create persuasive narrative? That ends up being like a 0-day vulnerability for the operating system of humanity. And what he said was, the last time we had non-humans creating persuasive narrative and myth was the advent of religion. That's the scale that he's thinking at.
All right. So that was that. Did you so what did you think of that, Chris?
Nah, that's wild.
Yeah, I was like, we probably need to talk about it at least a little bit.
I mean, it's wild, but at the same time, given all the things that we have seen from the time we were children to, to now, this is not unexpected, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is always what we've talked about.
Yep.
What we've talked about, what we've dreamed about, or some people have dreamed about in some cases. The thing is, without the evil aspect of it, all this tech is cool, right? All of it is cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be making our lives easier, more convenient, giving us more leisure time. It's supposed to be working for us. Obviously, this stuff doesn't work for the masses. It works for a tiny minority, and the rest of us get you know, it doesn't work how it should for the rest of us. It doesn't bring us any leisure. Now, this AI thing is going to it's going to turn conspiracy theorists into even deeper. They're going to put them into even deeper holes. You're just not going to know what to believe. So you're really just going to have to be quite patient about making your reactions and, you know, moving accordingly based on the things you've heard, because you don't even know if it's real.
Yeah, that's the problem. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to have a hard time telling the difference between fantasy and reality. And I think, I mean, granted, we have talked about this stuff. We have talked about this stuff ad nauseum over the last couple of years. I think it's not even about I told you so. It's the seeing it, though. I mean, we could talk about it till we're blue in the face, but when you're actually seeing it come to pass, that's kind of when it gets a little eerie. Like, wow, we've been talking about this stuff, but it's almost like, what's the word? A little surreal to actually see it happening. You know, it's not like we thought it never was going to happen, but it's just, you know, it's surreal to see it actually, you know, playing out right before our eyes. All right. And another thing I wanted to add on with this AI thing. Let's see, let me make sure I have it stopped at the beginning, because I want to play this. Miguel said it's going to make us go back to meeting people in person. I agree. I mean, I wish that we had a form of rapid transportation, like bullet trains and all that, so we could have far more. I wish we were working, you know, the 30-hour work weeks, you know, like that were proposed in the Nixon era. I really wish we were in that reality, but it doesn't look like we are. Choosy, right? He says, I need one of those Faraday wallets. So far, I haven't seen any designs that I like. And I think before you were saying something about you don't even like to use your credit cards or any of that stuff in the system, and I understand that. I completely understand that, because it's getting crazy. Mr. Street says AI will eventually pass the AI creators running on its own requirements. Yeah, they said that they can listen to you talk for, I think, like 30 seconds, and then be able to figure out basically your speech pattern, your cadence, words which you would typically use, and be able to, I mean, eventually decide to just replace me and Chris and make a show similar to ours with people who are similar to us, who speak with the same cadence that I do, and then have somebody who comes out and they might be as passionate as Chris, and just because they're able to get the mannerisms, they will be able to slowly psyop people in and siphon them away from, you know, the actual original content creators who came up with it. Yeah, Whitney Webb said that they will psyop AI singularity. I tell people the sky's the limit. And with this next article that I'm going to show, mind you, everybody, most of this stuff I'm giving to Chris a little cold. He has not seen any of this stuff, so he's reacting to it live with you guys also. Here, this one here. Ooh, I guess I was wrong. It was Travius that sent me this. Let's put it on the screen. All right. So, you ready for this, sir? Are you ready for this? All right, so let's get it going. All right, hello. I don't know, where's the sound? Where's the volume?
Microsoft exclusive rights to computerize the human body and hook people up to the wireless network? Bro, look, this shit is not no joke. You can go look this up right here, right now. US 6754472B1, method and apparatus for transmitting power and data using the human body. I mean, this ain't nothing new, y'all. This shit been in effect for some years, okay? All you gotta do is go to Google Patents, and they even show you there in full detail, everything. And you look it up right here. It's on Google Patents. See? It says Google Patents. You come right here, look, and it tell you that the application was filed by the Microsoft Corporation back in 2000, right? You see that? April 27, 2000. But then right there, you see that the application wasn't granted until, what was that, 2004, back in June. Now you see right here, it said anticipation expiration. But then right there in the status, it says expired, but it has that little dash and it says lifetime as well. That means it's going to be ongoing until it gets implemented. Hell no. Look, it says methods and apparatus for distributing power and data to devices coupled to the human body are described. The human body is used as a conductive medium, e.g. bus over which power and or data is distributed. Power is distributed by coupling a power source to the human. This is all the work of your boy Kill Bill. Y'all see what this shit say? Huh? U.S.
So, yeah. Chris H, I don't know. You might be onto something. That could be why. But what do you think about this, Chris? That there's a patent out to do this, like literally the Matrix, like literally plugging you up to use you as a battery. Oh, you're on mute,
Marcus. I think we talked about this 2 years ago. Or
we
maybe
might
even
have
3 years ago at this point. We talked about the patent that they had that will allow you to it'll allow you to conduct transactions with your body, right? With the implants in your body.
That was the biohacking.
Yeah, correct. And they've already done that in Western Africa. We talked about the Microsoft Wellness Pass here before. I mean, the MasterCard Wellness Pass before. And they were doing trials of this stuff, I think, in Seattle years ago, probably 2015, 2014 type of time period I'm thinking about. Now it's just becoming the infrastructure, the technological infrastructure that you need to run these type of programs, during that time was probably just getting, they're building it up. Now it's probably almost ready if it's not finished.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's just, like I say again, it's always weird watching this stuff like come into action, these things that we've been talking about. We've been talking about the smart cities and your boy LJ, he just released something new talking about the smart cities. Just know that there's something that's going on, and I watch a lot of people now. I gotta I'll comment back to what Choosy was saying there, in a little bit of defense of Whitney. And I get where he's coming from. Let's put it on the screen. Choosy says, I had to knock the. No, that's not the right one. When you said, I like Whitney, I wish she had more confidently solution oriented. She's a good sleuth, but she sucks at therapeutic thinking. Well, the thing is, I don't really think. I mean, her mission is to be a journalist and to just search this information out. It's up for other people if they have solutions to come up with the solutions. I mean, I don't think always that the sleuth and the solution people are always hand in hand. You need somebody to find out the information so you can see the level of what you're dealing with, and then other people, if they have solutions for it, then they can start coming up with it. But like I tell people, I'm not a solutions oriented person necessarily either, because the reason why is I'm a person who lives by faith. I believe that all of this is ordained to happen, and it's going to happen, and it's playing out for a greater cause. So therefore, I don't feel like there is a solution if this is what's supposed to happen. So therefore, I bring you guys the information, and I try to, even if I don't do it directly with the Bible, I am trying to prophesy to you all, so you can at least see what's coming and be able to, prepare yourself for whatever you plan to do, whether it's the stand up and fight the system, whether it is the go along with it, whether it is to evade, whatever you plan on doing. My goal is to just put that information out there for you so that you can make the decision on your own how you decide to deal with the problem, and then let you all come up with the solutions. Like I said, I'm a faith-based person. I believe I believe in what the Bible says the solution is going to be. Now, I do realize that everybody doesn't have the same interpretation that I do, don't have the same, viewpoint that I do, and that's fine. But that's where I am. So therefore, I wouldn't be able to give you positive solutions necessarily at changing this, since I believe that this is kind of what is going to happen. I don't know, your thoughts, sir?
On the solution part,
Yeah,
it's tough to talk about solutions because it really only the main requirement for the solutions is sacrifice. And you have to ask yourself what you're willing to sacrifice. And there's a lot of things that if you want to live free of the ruling class and all of their rules and regulations and bullshit, you have to be willing to sacrifice some comforts of the world. You probably have to write that down for yourself to see what it is that you are willing to be without, and can you do it? Other than that, we're just watching the machinations of the machine and the players, and we're commenting on it, and we're trying to pinpoint and predict where the next movements will be. But again, the solution part of it that I think it was Chris H mentioned, it does require sacrifice over everything else.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you over there to GeoPro for the generous tip. I don't think I can read this one out loud.
GeoPro, what's up, man? Appreciate it.
Yeah, I could. Let me. Okay, that's what I'll do. I'll try my best to read it carefully. It says, Dr. Buttar, part of Disinfo 12, claims he was poisoned before he died. And there's a link for it. I will put that link over in the I'll put that link into the StreamYard. And actually, I'll do that, and I will retweet it out. It says this CNN clip, Dr. Buttar, October 2021, and what happened to Griffin, below Griffin. You think I'm going to die, Buttar? I hope, but not. So yeah, let me grab this. Copy. So I'll put this in there if you guys want to go and check it out. That's one of them.
Oh, he died. Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't know how to.
Dr. Buttar is dead. Jesus Christ. And he was one of the people talking about that shit.
That's why I'm like, touchy subject there. Or I don't know if you want to try your best at talking about it. Jimmy, I see Jimmy is in the building. Speaking of a death, we had Jim Brown die also.
Oh yeah, I saw that he passed away. Rest in
Mhm.
peace, Jim Brown.
Rest in peace to
Your
one of the
family and all
greatest. Definitely one of the greatest. But I mean, you know, he was up there in age too. So I mean, death comes for us all at some point, right? I know it's just kind of interesting. We just had two prolific like civil rights leaders kind of pass in a short time who were tied to the entertainment industry. Kind of crazy, right? I'm not saying that it's any kind of I'm not putting anything out there. I'm not saying that it's a conspiracy that Harry Belafonte and Jim Brown died. I'm not saying that. I don't know. I'm not saying that there's not. If you guys have something, send me the information. I was just, you know.
I mean, I don't know. Those
remarking
guys
on
are
it.
pretty.
They were up
You
there
know,
in age.
I don't know about Jim Brown, but Harry Belafonte was, you know, he's been around for a long time. I mean,
Jim Brown was 87.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, and Marcus, I'm not sure if you know this, but sometimes death does occur.
Yeah, my grandfather died at 87. So,
Yeah, I know. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, it just so happens my grandmother is still going. I've been saying her age wrong all this time. My grandmother is 97.
Yeah, we're not at the era where we're gonna live forever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that reminds me of this tweet that I saw. This boomer lady. I guess it's kind of weird that I'm having to be on the side of Christian Smalls, but he was basically kind of going at like the boomer generation, and this lady was like, "Well, wait till you get my age or whatever, and then we can talk." And it's like the way things are going right now, because of most of the boomers who are in power, many people are not going to make it to 60s and 70s. I mean,
No,
you go with the stuff that's being pumped into the air. You go into what's been. I mean, all these you know, this stuff all these different preservatives which are bad for us, all these different bleaches and stuff that are put in the food, all of these different things, high fructose corn syrup, the higher hypertension rates, the crazy amounts of sodium, they are all putting most of us in a state where we're going to have to need medical care at much earlier ages. And being that it's more expensive, you're going to probably have more people dying because they're not going to be able to afford it. And I possibly think that could be part of the plan, you know, because I honestly think like a lot of these people were talking about general strikes and this is what we need to do. It's only a matter of time. I mean, you have to have massive, massive ones that'll be into the millions. And if you don't get that at some time very soon, it's almost, in my assessment, it's almost impossible to do anything or slow down what's coming. Because most of this stuff has been so in the plans for so long. Most people are reacting in a reactionary manner versus being, you know, versus being ahead of the curve. So if you're always reacting a lot of times, then you're always on the defense versus being, you know, having a control of things before they get going. Yeah, Dr. Buttar was only 57, Miguel says.
Then where's Hamza?
I know this is a time where Hamza was definitely weighing in.
Damn. That's crazy. I got to look into this one. This is interesting because, you know, obviously, if you were paying attention during, you know, the outbreak of Rona, you know, Dr. Buttar, he wasn't exactly on the side of the official narrative.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was one of the people who basically, when his name was referenced by the mainstream folks on television and radio, what have you, internet, you know, it was one of ridicule and that you shouldn't listen to him and that listening to him is you know, could potentially be dangerous for you, right? So I would love to, not love to, but I'm going to look into this myself because I'm curious. Like
Yeah, I
normally we
mean,
get stories, you know, we look into some and then we leave it alone, but I'm interested in his only because the position he took, and he took it early, and he stayed extremely consistent, and he didn't bend, and he didn't fold, and he didn't, you know, he didn't play their game.
yeah, there's so much that I would like to say. Like for instance, I definitely believe like a lot of the high profile people, like what's his name, Prince, or artist formerly known as Prince, like Michael Jackson, even the R. Kelly stuff. I mean, I know Dr. Umar was talking about this not that long ago, but this stuff, the way it goes down, doesn't go down the way it goes down, typically. I mean, we're making it like all of a sudden everybody just found out what R. Kelly had going on. Why now all of a sudden?
Oh yeah, maybe the money ran out and he wasn't maybe he was unable to pay people to continue their silence.
Well, what I heard and looking into it, there's some smoke with it. Allegedly, they wanted his I think was it Sony, wanted his catalog, and the fact that he didn't want to turn over his catalog, well, you don't want to play. You don't want to play ball. Yeah, I mean, you look at all of a sudden, you know, the same thing. Prince, at the time when he was dying, they wanted Prince's catalog. Prince goes out.
To make you say, you know, it's weird. It's like being in space and having mice on the outside of your ship, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, Michael Jackson. Well, think about what happened with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson had the Beatles catalog, and it was some things that they were already taking from Michael Jackson ideas as far as like what Disney did and things like that. So there's a lot of things which, you know, even the Bill Cosby stuff. Bill Cosby was fighting a dispute about well, they wanted his land. So what about that there? And then trying to remember who else just recently had something going on. This might be, well, I guess if I was talking to a lot of people out here from Cali, then I would have more of an issue. But the whole Kobe Bryant stuff. Kobe Bryant was allegedly fighting back and forth with a drug company.
Oh yeah.
So it seems weird that all of these people, they're always, it's never somebody who's just like, oh, nothing's going on and it just randomly happens. It's always some kind of stuff that involves a lot of money right when these people all pass. It's just weird to me.
All of it.
Sorry. I was reading Choosey's comment. Says, I apologize for talking myself 12 minutes before the stream. What I'm saying, Marcus, is that journalists do need to use therapeutic thinking. So note format should be the standard and not ignored. Perhaps that's my greatest achievement in life. I've been sitting here for 4 years demanding that people think therapeutically. Typically all the way through soap note to the proven plan. Well, I mean, if you're a person who believes that this is all we got here on earth and once you die, boom, you're done, then I think that there should be some urgency on trying to come up with some solutions. I definitely agree with that. Let's check. Let me check over on the rock fence, see what's going on. Okay, we're still good. But I don't know. I'm just noticing that oftentimes there's always something going on, even with Kanye's mom. when she passed. There was beef with Kanye going on. So, I mean, I wonder. And then you have people like Martin Lawrence running down the street with a gun talking about that they're trying to kill me. You have Dave Chappelle, who they tried to say that Dave Chappelle lost his mind, he was on crack and all that. I don't know. Even the whole people called into question the whole Anne H death. I mean,
you know the only thing that's kind of crazy being in this space too. Since we know that media lies, government lies, corporations lie, we lie, da 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 da. You know, sometimes some of these conspiracy theories sometimes the theories are way too like they have too many holes in them.
Yeah.
You know, the theories, because, you know, like I always say on this show, there are conspiracies and there are conspiracy theories. Some of the theories are just kind of like, you know, Obama's going to take guns and this one's going to do that. And this is no, you know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, for instance, Kennedy assassination is a conspiracy because there's an actual conspiracy. And then there's the conspiracy theory of you know that there was a conspiracy for his death to occur. The trying to figure out how it was done is the conspiracy theory. Actually, Chris H, that's not correct. From what I heard, his daughter said, we're talking about Jamie Foxx. Says
yeah,
now
his daughter
Jamie Foxx
said
is fighting for his life. His daughter said he's home relaxing. Now I've heard some people put out their art like going into conspiracy theory. Some people said no, that they don't believe that that's true, that Jamie Foxx died in the hospital and now they got to clone Jamie Foxx out. I mean, they said the same thing with DeMar Hamlin. So, I mean, I don't know on some of these. Sometimes it's just people talking. You know, I tend to lean and listen more with there are things that don't add up or when there's money involved.
Marcus, I want to address something Chuzy brought up, gematria. Chuzy, I will not sit here and pretend that I fully understand gematria. However, even with that, sometimes I do follow people who are really into that. It just seems as if they make all the numbers fit whatever it is they want to say when they want to say it. But again, I don't know how true, like how close to the truth it actually is. So I will say that I don't have that understanding of it. But it just seems as if they bend it to make it fit what their belief and their opinion is.
And me, I'll say I do not believe I'm qualified enough to speak on gematria. I mean,
yeah, I'm not.
For one, I'm not a guy who likes numbers. Not a numbers guy. I actually hate numbers. History is what I like. Researching in that area, history, philosophy, theology, those are areas that, okay, cool. I feel comfortable. Those are my wheelhouses. Even sports, you know, combat sports, those are my wheelhouses. But when you start getting into numbers, I don't want no parts of that.
Yeah.
And I remember the days when people used to, like, we live in this new era where people don't stick to the areas they know. Everybody decides, well, I'm an expert now on whatever I just decided to be because I read one book and then watched a bunch of YouTube videos.
No, it's all good. Choosy. Oh, it's not about laughing at you at all. Many I've seen within the last couple of years, the amount of people who have learned about gematria and now into gematria, it grows all the time. You know, that's the only thing that's kind of scary because, like I said, you know, if they make everything add up, and you know, I'm just saying, I don't know if you could predict. I would like a little more evidence to see how you could predict things like down to the T. And I'll just leave it at I don't know enough, but I'm interested in learning more, and I for sure will be learning more about it. Because again, 3 years ago, I wouldn't. If you would have said gematria to me, I wouldn't have known what it was.
I mean, I've known what it is. It's just like, I'll admit, on some things, I just have a mental block. It's just, no matter how much I stare at it, like, I'll tell you guys, to this day, yes, I can tell you so much about history in so many different parts of the world, different cities, states, all this stuff like that. But no matter how much I stare at algebra, I am still going to struggle at it. Weirdly, geometry, I could do geometry. I think sports helped with me understanding geometry, but algebra, calculus, you got me there. I'm done. I'm just like our boy Atris there. He's like a C+ student at best. Like, we used to have like I don't know. I'm pretty sure everybody had some kind of version of it. Growing up in Kansas, we had a Kansas State assessment, and you started taking this in 6th grade, and basically you had to finish that. Like, you could A student all the way through, but if you didn't finish this, you did not graduate. I finished like 90% of my stuff by like 7th grade. But what was it? Dividing and multiplying decimals. I literally had to go to summer school in like my junior year to try to get it passed. So math is, I know that's a weak area for me.
No, that's it's all good. He said the reason I brought up gematria because if you believe that there's sacrificial rituals going on, it ties into it. Yes, correct.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Don't get us wrong. We do. I do think there might be something to it, and I do believe that is. I'm just saying I'm never gonna understand it. I don't think I'm ever gonna understand gematria. It's just too complex for me.
Yeah, I haven't sat down, looked at it, studied it, followed the pattern to really let it, to really make it jump out to me like that. But, I tend to follow the people who I think are good at deciphering these numbers and picking out these meanings. So I'll continue to rely upon them until I'm at a point to which I can actually do that also.
Yeah, I listen to them and I'm like, because to me, I'm not willing to say you don't know what you're talking about. You're all crazy, but it just, to me, I'm like, that just doesn't make sense to me. I mean,
no, it doesn't make sense. Not making sense like a mouse on your spaceship in space.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I gotta build my evidence, and I gotta have this and this and this and this, and I gotta at least have. I gotta have evidence plus motive plus opportunity, and that's kind of like my core things I look to. I gotta see that there's evidence that a person could have done this, had a probability of doing this, that had a motive to do this, and had an incentive also to do this. And if I don't see all of these things coming together, then that's normally when I start doubting a theory. September 11, 3 BC. Yes, I do. Sorry, Juicy. I'm not gonna understand it. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying that the people who put it together, that they're not coming to a correct conclusion. There's plenty of times I've added stuff up and I've been able to figure it out a different way than the other way, which somebody else has been able to break it down. But that's it. Let's move on. What else did I have on the plate? Let me get that other one. I don't know. You heard about the Marjorie Taylor Greene stuff, right?
No. Oh, real quick, did I send you that shit with about the mouse on the plane in space? Did I send that to you?
No.
I'm gonna send that shit to you. I thought I did early.
Send it to me. What are you sending it to me on?
On the gram.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna get the.
All right, I sent it to you.
All right, I see it. I got alerts everywhere. All right, man. Let's get that up. Pause. I should have knew it was from him. I should have knew it was our guy. Our guy is always on top of this. Now, I did see something that he had covered that I'm like, man, I wish I would have had more time to go and dig into it because it did tie into something that we had already talked about. So let's see. Why is it not? Why is it not? Why is this how it shows?
Yeah, that's how it shows. Yeah,
okay, I was gonna say, is something up with mine?
This.
No.
See a mouse run across the screen right here. Watch this. I think the lady heard it. Hold on.
This shit is funny. A mouse really did.
Watch the mouse. Pay attention. Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. What's this? We in space, right? I know it's awesome, baby. You caught that.
What?
Pay attention. Watch this.
Wow.
Watch this. You're going to see a mouse run across the screen right here. Watch.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. Look at these comments here. NASA, not a space agency. And I thought this one's interesting too. This one says, "I Malik 5 sever body." Says in NASA in close. It's not NASA. It's Nasar. NASAR in Hebrew means to deceive. That's correct.
Deceive.
Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of funny that Werner was it Werner or Warner? Werner von Braun, one of the Nazi scientists, is one of the leaders of that whole program. It's kind of interesting.
Correct. That's what's crazy. And then to say that people would say like you're anti-Semitic for like pointing that shit out. Either way, they live in nasty or the station is closer than we think. Yo, Mr. Streets, it's either that station is a New York subway or, that's a Ninja Turtle on there. How about that?
Well, let me see if I can find this one. Do you remember the astronaut that they were talking about that they were in the space, that they were in space, and he said that they were in somewhere else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was like they were supposed to be in space, and their homeboy said, "We're happy to be coming to you from across the country." If you were in space, why would you say that?
What was it at, like Iowa or something?
Yeah, can't remember but it was something stupid. It was, and his team kind of like they kind of looked at him like real quick, like, you dummy. But
I should know that. I should know. Trying to search it on YouTube, it ain't gonna pop right up.
Hey, Chris H, you trying to start like an all-out like riot?
What is Chris H talking about?
He says, so we at the conclusion that the earth is flat?
Well, I'm gonna be careful how I answer that. I'm not necessarily saying that the Earth is flat. I'm not necessarily saying that it's a sphere. The one thing I definitely am saying is I do not believe they went to the moon. I do not believe that they're in actually outer space when they're filming a lot of this stuff. And I do not believe any of the pictures that they show us are real. That's what I'll say. I mean, they even tell you that these are depictions, that they're not actual photos. If you look at any of these photos, you will see that it tells you that it's a depiction. Another thing this is the biggest thing that tips it off for me. Being somebody that was really big about maps and traveling and all these different places, the moment that they told me that about the difference in the maps, whereas most of the maps that most people use are is the Mercator map. That's the one which is on the globe. That's the ones that are on most maps. It's the Mercator map. Well, when they told me that the actual map is the actual continent sizes was more correct on the Gail Peterson map. You know what I'm talking about, Chris? The Gail Peterson versus the Mercator map.
We've shown that map before too on this channel.
And I guess I will pull it up. I'll pull it up one more time just for everybody so they can see what I'm talking about for those who aren't familiar with what I'm talking about. I'm going to pull it up so I can show everybody the difference in the two maps. Now, let's pull the images up and let's share the screen. So, share screen. Now, this one right here is the Mercator map. This one right here is the Gail Peters map. Now, what you'll notice between these two maps is all of the continents now in the so-called global south are larger than they are on this map, massively larger. They make United States a little bit bigger, but look at it. It almost makes it look like the United States. Actually, I'm not going to say United States. I'll say North America. It makes it look like North America is larger than South America. In actuality, South America is larger than North America. This you said Antarctica. Antarctica, they make it look like it's massive. Antarctica on this map is smaller. And if you look at Africa, Africa is much, much larger. Africa is larger than Africa would be larger than, say, the Middle East, Western Europe, actually not even Western Europe, the Middle East, Europe, Russia, Asia. It's bigger than all of those places. I mean, Australia is bigger than most of Western Europe on the Gail Peterson projection. And then I've even heard some people say the map is actually upside down. And so the fact that they keep showing us this one here on the left when it's actually closer to this one here already tells me any of these projections that I see they're wrong, because it's not an accurate depiction. Look how it shows. I'm blanking on was the so-called South Pole, and look here, it's virtually nothing down there. Antarctica, there we go. It's virtually nothing down here. So I have a hard time with these people's projections. Like here, this is Iceland right here. This little tiny blip. I don't know if you guys can see where I have the arrow. Over here, you don't even virtually see it. It's right here. It literally cuts it in half. It cuts Greenland into about a third. And then it came out that a lot of the European map makers, they intentionally inflated the sizes of their continents on the map to make the so-called global south look smaller than them. I mean, it's going into levels of a superiority complex that I don't even think most people grapple with. That the leaders, especially these people who, these leaders of European, so-called European descent, have such a supremacy mindset. They have to even make their planets bigger. I mean, their continents bigger. And then I even think the Gail Peters projection is not entirely correct. If you just look up the sheer numbers of it, the sheer number of the sheer number size of the continent of Africa would dictate for it to be even larger than it depicts it on the Gail Peters model. And so what that tells me is we don't have a definitive picture at all of what the Earth looks like. And everything that we're seeing, every one of these pictures are all projections.
Oh, you're welcome, Venti.
Oh, yes, Africa is much bigger than what makes a vaccine.
Steve, what's up, man?
Feels like I'm in a movie
around.
like The Truman Show. Yes, they lie to us, Mark. Yes, they definitely do lie to us. We have to take into account Mercator map was made before satellites and air travel. True, but on the satellites, every time they show these different depictions from space, they always show the Mercator map. They still show the Mercator map, though, even though they have that now. That's how I know these people are so full of it. Oh, Venti said, "Oh, first time hearing of this." Yeah, and if you talk to geologists, they'll admit this stuff. This is like a common fact, and this is the thing. And in history and academics, new facts and stuff comes out all the time. But does any of that get changed in our textbooks? No. For instance, there are plenty of geologists which say that the whole theory about the Grand Canyon, of how the Colorado River basically shaped the Grand Canyon, that's kind of a debunked ideology or a thought process in academia. But you don't hear that unless you get to high levels of college. The same thing.
Denver, sorry, market side note. We got to update. Denver just beat the Lakers. They're up 3-0 in their series, so it's pretty much a wrap for the Lakers now. It looks like
no. You know what's going to happen.
No, they're not going to pull that off. No, they're not.
It's not going to be a sweep. There's too much money involved. They're not going to let it be a sweep.
I mean, yeah, maybe it'll be over in 5 games, but but Denver's moving on clearly.
No, it won't be 5. I think it's going to be 6 games.
So you're saying the Lakers going to win Game 4 and Game 5, and then Denver will close it out in 6. Okay.
Yep. Right. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it seems like what they're trying to do is they're trying to get a little equity going on for teams which hadn't won. Think of it. If that happens, then you have Denver going to the NBA Finals for the first time in their history, which sets up an opportunity. More than likely, we're going to be looking at, I don't know, they got to have it a large market team or a team which has some popularity to keep the interest. So more than likely, I'm thinking it's going to be Miami. I think it's going to be Miami just because they've won a championship recently and they're more of a hot team than Boston. Plus, I think people know that outside of the New England area, a lot of people don't like Boston. And it's because of the city of Boston. It ain't the team. It's because that area, it's known for its racism. And so I don't think a lot of people would be interested in really watching Boston. Now, you got more people who would be more into it if it's Miami. So I think we're looking at a Miami versus Denver. and you're going to see Denver take it in game. It might even go to a game 7, 6 or 7. That's what I say. Denver wins it in 6 or 7 NBA Finals. We'll see. I could be wrong, but that's what if there's anybody out there gambling and you got money to toss out there, see what happens. That's where I would say put your money. Put your money on Denver right now, game 6 or game 7.
Yeah, it's I didn't see Denver going up 3-0. I saw them, possibly being up 2-1, but not 3-0.
Well, think about it. Miami, not Miami, but the Lakers could have won that other game, and some questionable calls towards the end of the game, and LeBron doing a couple of things.
Marcus, it wasn't even the calls. LeBron James 100% cost the Lakers the last game. He had 3 missed layups, and they lost by like 6. So that's on you, bro. Everything else,
stretching it out to a longer series, more TV money, more ad money. I'm telling you, Vegas is involved.
I don't doubt that. And Miami is up on Boston 2-0 as well, which they just won those first 2 games in Boston on the road, which is very interesting. But these tickets,
and now they're going to go to Miami and win 2 games right there.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I was looking at tickets for the Heat. Jesus Christ, bro! It's all.
That's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. So some of the interesting topics. Let's see. Mr. Street says, I guess somebody asked this question. There's a question in there, or he just said it. Mr. Street says, Scripture say the earth is immovable. So how are we spinning and on a circle, son? Good point. And that is what Scripture says. Chris H. asks, at the Political Matrix, do you guys think regarding young earth and old earth creationism? I don't believe in young earth the way Christians do. I do not believe the earth was created in 6 actual days. Scriptures say that one day for the Most High is 1,000 years for us. So Marcus, that would give at least a 6,000 year creation time period.
The link in the chat is from Steve of Slow Newsday, who checked in on us on the Rockfin side of things. Steve was good. We appreciate it.
Oh yeah, Steve, no, definitely welcome. Hop in whenever
Steve
you like.
says Denver in 6, Heat can win in 5, Heat in 7 for the series. Is that against Boston?
He's seen it the same way I am.
Boston, or is that against Denver when you say Heat in 7 for the series? But anyway, yeah, I'll just
and like also
it is playoffs time.
Talking about some of that flat earth, I see Linnea Cannon, what's up, says the patents on military jets says it's made for immovable earth. Also, you know that like to get a pilot's license, you have to read most of the manuals and all that stuff in English. It's interesting. So that's a way that you're controlling the information and study how everybody's having to go through English-speaking people. What I missed? Yeah, streets exactly 6,000 years easily, and so we're talking about like what I tell people like that first couple of verses in Genesis is talking about like thousands of years. Because if you think about it, for all these people who say that the earth is all millions of years and it's 10,000 and 15,000 and 20,000, why come recorded history only goes back to like 10, 12,000? Some could even stretch it, say 15,000. But you don't hear any recorded history more than 10 to 15,000 years.
Yes, that's a considerable amount of time. You know what I mean?
And so everybody's thinking, oh no, it was just people who were walking around just going ooga booga beating stuff on rocks like for a good couple million years. And then all of a sudden, then they just, something happened, and then they just, oh, now all the lights clicked on and they got smart enough how to figure out all this stuff really, really fast in the last couple thousand years. Come on. Y'all really buying that shit?
Yeah.
It's just like even I wish Thomas was in here, because do you know that a lot of people have been pushing back on the Bering Strait theory? Like, think about it. We still call it theory. It's still called the Bering Strait theory. Nobody looks at it as established historical fact.
Mm. But have they found signs of civilization, or at least like even a migrant group in and around that area of the world?
Well, what they believe, it's believed that there was a land bridge that, now they still don't determine if it was ice on it, if it was not ice, if it was thawed out and people were just walking, if there was animals and all this stuff like that. But this theory is saying that the people who are in the Americas, we're talking about all the way from Canada, Alaska, all the way down to the bottom in Chile. Mexico, even further, all the way down to Chile and Peru. We're talking about all of these people literally walk all the way from Siberia. This is the theory, that they just walked. Even though you can go back to the BC days, provable that people were literally riding around on ships. They had already had forms of chariots and things like that. The wheel was already well created. So, and you're telling me that no, these people over here, they just walked and just kept walking and walking and walking. And you would also have to assert that there was this giant land bridge that's there, which we don't necessarily see. You would also have to tell me whether that land bridge was ice or not, because as it was first time where I was first learning about it, they were like, oh yeah, it was icy, but in this parts it was open. So if it's ice that these people are walking across, how did they know that there was going to be land on the other side of that? Did they move to a part, stay there for a while, and then continuously keep migrating across? No, that's not what they say. They say that it was a continual trek, as if they knew exactly where they were going. And how did they have enough provisions for food? How did they know that they were going to be able to catch food? And also, what took
you ain't lying, kid.
What took tens of thousands of people and made them all say, you know what, let's just get up and just start walking in group mass all to another continent? It doesn't add up. It never made sense to me in school. And then I start hearing certain native tribes have been pushing back on it, like, no, that's bull. Some of them have said that, yes, we might have came from that area of Siberia or whatever, but they had ships. Some have said that no, they came from the east and they had ships. So there's multiple different areas. There's multiple different ways that all these people got to the Americas. And many of them are pushing back on the fact that they all just decided to get up and walk across a land bridge for, I don't know how many miles are we talking here? I mean,
I think of that song. What's the name of that song, Marcus? If I couldn't walk 500
miles. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about like,
this man,
you literally decided like, yo, I'm going to just decide to walk like about a good 6,000 miles to something over there. I hope it's something over there that's better than this. Logically, it doesn't even make sense. No. And if they were running from something, right, then that means that that enemy that they were possibly running from more than likely at least had horses or something. So you're telling me these people didn't have no horses, no nothing. They hadn't figured out how to domesticate anything when all these other people in all these other areas had already domesticated animals.
Had already done it, right? Yeah, correct.
It just doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
It almost, to me, it almost comes across as almost a little insulting that you believe that these people that you in Europe, in the Mediterranean, Africa, in the so-called Middle East, all of these people were able to create things. And even into different parts of Africa, all these people were able to create civilizations, kingdoms, and all this. But these other people, they were just so primitive. All they could do is just walk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was always, I always thought it was kind of a lazy, lazy theory.
The streets are stupid.
Like Forrest Gump's.
The streets are fired, man.
Well, the thing about it, Miguel, you said they are assuming humans originated in the old continent. Well, genetically, there are ties to Native Americans and so-called East Asian descent. But also that East Asian descent also ties back even to Africa. There's not, I mean, I remember this one Chinese researcher, I won't show it because I know they'll hit us with a copyright, but this Chinese researcher wanted to prove that Asiatic people descended from the Asian continent independent of the out of Africa theory. And what he found is every Chinese man had African DNA. It all traced back to different tribes that are now currently in, what would it be, Southeast Africa. And so the out of Africa theory is the most logical theory. Even if you look at it as it's not a creator.
I'm laughing at streets. I'm sorry.
I mean, even if you think outside of some kind of creator, even though I don't entirely trust DNA, but it does show that we all had to have some kind of single origin points somewhere. Or you could believe that actually it's, I know, man, this is when Thomas needs to be in here, where his people like Dane Calloway believes that no, there was another origin story and we actually originated here on the Americas. And then they took some of the people over to West Africa, and that's how they got West Africans, and that's how our DNA is similar, because they took us from here over to
live choosing.
I'm not gonna go into Dane tonight. I've been on TikTok. I just did a video going back and forth with some of that stuff, in which for more y'all, if y'all are on TikTok and y'all follow the Political Matrix, y'all need to be following over there on TikTok also. Like, help me. I'm trying to get to 100 followers. That shouldn't be that hard. I'm still on like 530. Said, Chris, you got a Motel 6?
No, I just
oh man.
I just responded. No, you put my black ass at home. No, I'm at home. Yo, that shit is fucking funny. No, I just came back from outside and, this is just how it was. So I jumped on.
Let me see. We got Did you say you put the link in the chat for Steve, right? Or did you ask me to?
Oh no, I put a link in the chat that he
okay.
He posted a link for everybody.
Oh, got you about Flat Earth. I see it now.
Yeah.
I just hopped over to the Rockland side.
Oh, Shelly, what's up?
Shelly, hey, what's up? Shelly says mainstream archaeology is xenophobic and narcissistic. It definitely is. It's like there's nothing in Africa, not at all. But wait a minute. This stuff over here that is in Africa, it was made by white people or aliens.
Yo, Choosy and Dipper ain't shit because they put me in a Motel 6 in a Red Roof Inn. Look, yo, I'm not that starved. I got my own place, and I could do a little bit better than a Red Roof.
Shelley says Homo sapiens intermix with other hominids all over the world. I don't think I don't think there's one single origin. I don't know. I think that there's one single origin. Now, for the other species, I believe that goes into something else, but But I think, I mean, like for instance, if you're talking about, like for instance, like Neanderthal, or what is the other one? Neanderthal and I always forget it. There's only a handful of people who even have like up to 4% of that in their DNA, and that's only people typically who have lived outside the African continent. So everybody who is living in the African continent have no mixture of the what are they called again? I'm forgetting.
Wait, which one? Streets got me messed up, man.
What are y'all talking about? Y'all having a whole side conversation over here.
Oh, Streets is stupid. He said they see me in the doorway scratching my stomach in the motel.
I don't remember. Now it's messing me up. Okay.
Yo, man, I can't. Yo, that shit is the funniest shit.
What are they called? Why come I can't remember what they're called? What?
See, you're going too far talking about waiting for call girls.
Oh, wow.
Yo, y'all are funny. I tell you that.
Oh, wow. That's what I said, man.
Steve sent you a message, and Steve sent you a message on the Rockfin.
Okay.
Or he commented in the Rockfin.
Let's see. I just got back from walking dogs. I can hop in. Cool. Let me grab a link then.
Yo, Yipper and Streets like tag teamed us like Demolition, dog. Like we're gonna have to come back with like the Steiner Brothers or something like that.
Cro-Magnon men. That's
Cro-Magnon men.
But there's another one I'm trying to remember. Oh, Neanderthal, and it starts with a D. What was the other one? It's right on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it right now.
Hey, don't say pause. You gotta pause that. You said it starts with a D and it's on the tip of your tongue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that pause stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, you can't say that. You gotta think of something else to say. You just say I can't remember the word and I don't remember what it starts with. But it's at the tip of my tongue. That sounds safer than,
Hey, I'm old, man. I don't know this stuff. I can't follow all the newest trends and the new lingo.
Yeah, I know. And shout out to our Bahamas. Shout out to our people in the Bahamas watching. It's Miss Tasha. I know you out there. Good evening,
Miss Tasha. How do you know that they watching? You don't know. That's what I was thinking of. Did Dennis? I can't say it. Try to sound it out. Dennis.
So even Ruby laughed at that. She knew that.
Denisovans. Yeah, Denisovans, whatever. That's what they're called.
I never heard of that. So.
You've never heard of them?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Dennis. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now that Miguel typed it, yes.
Yeah. And basically it just looked like one was a darker one. And I think, what was it? I think they are more out of Asia. I don't know how much I even believe in those. I don't know how much I believe in that stuff either. I don't know how much I believe in it. Because I know there's a lot of stuff that they BS about. Because if they'll lie to us about NASA, what else are they not lying about? Yeah, that's the picture I'm used to seeing.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what it looks like. What they look like, allegedly. And they say that, you know, that the Neanderthal and the Denisovans were kind of around, say, what would that be? Eastern Europe, crossing into Asia. I think that's where a lot of them are across all across Europe. And they say that at some point, most people, not most, but some Europeans intermixed with Neanderthals and all that. I'm like, I don't know about all that. But they do say that there are some people, according to DNA, that do have that in their bloodstream. Let's see, what is that? Hertz pigeon. Let's see, what did you send me? I don't know what this is. I guess this is maybe Hertz pigeon Gab. I don't know what that is. Gab.com. I have no clue what Gab.com is. Never heard of it. Yeah, exactly, Stephen. Put this on the screen. All human beings have gotten African DNA origins. So at some point in time, that's the reason why I still believe in the I believe that the origin is the same. And if you look at it, you can look at the Khoisan people, and not only the Khoisan, there's a couple other tribes that are in Africa that have the epicanthic fold, you know, which Asiatic people have. And so it's shown that even that trait goes back to Africa. And so that's the reason why I'm like, yeah, I think the out of Africa theory is the most logical theory of all. So let's see. Oh yeah. So let's get a little bit back onto the topic because we kind of took a detour. Oh, I guess let me pull. Oh, that's right. I was asking you if you heard the Marjorie Taylor Greene stuff.
Oh no, I didn't hear. Okay, is that the thing where she was trying to say that the black dude Bowman had her under pressure and made her feel a certain way, like she was unsafe, or maybe he was gonna rape her, or some stupid shit like that? Damsel, you know, white woman in distress because big black guy with, you know, a big peanut head and big lips is like, you know, putting pressure on her. Yeah, I didn't read the details. I don't know exactly what happened from the interaction. So you'll go ahead and explain it and show it to us. But of course, these are people who are in the government. Jamal Bowman wasn't about to drop, you know, elbows on this chick and put hands and feet to her face in the Capitol building. We know that wasn't about to happen. So again, it's just much to do about nothing as usual. You know what I mean? It's just bullshit. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm a white woman and this big black guy scared me. You know, that's all that is, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I definitely agree.
I guarantee you. You know what? She got close enough to him. She probably was like, you know, I you know, he and I could work on some bipartisan legislation. I guarantee it.
I mean,
look,
basically
don't be surprised in 6 months or 6 weeks or 6 days we get the tape with her, like, you know, swallowing kids. Part of my rudeness. But
wow, yeah, I didn't know how far he was gonna go with that, but yeah, he played it all the way out to the logical. I don't know. It could be like, remember those old TV shows? You always have people who like hated each other, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they have that one day when they have that big blow up fight, nobody's around, and they start kissing in the office. I mean, it could be the possibility there. But basically what happened is, you guys know the that lion sack of shit that nobody wants to get rid of. Santos, who he basically is just like, I don't know, I guess he's competing for trying to be the biggest liar that they have in Washington, which is a pretty hefty task. I mean, considering how much most of those people lie. And they're he's trying to get the Republicans to like, boot him to the curb. Well, after this like hearing or whatever that they were having, Santos goes outside and he decides to have like a press conference, and Bowman is kind of being more of a troll, kind of like, you're a disgrace, basically. There's no reason why you need to be out here having a press conference like you somebody special. And then she starts trying to stand up for him. And so basically the back and forth is, you should try to do what's right and get rid of this guy. We all know he's full of it. And she's like, well, we should just do what's right in general. And he's like, yeah, do what's right, clean up your party, blah, 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 blah. And so if you watch the exchange, they're both yelling at each other. This is a mutual argument that's being had. Well, after the fact, she goes and starts talking about how he's dangerous. He made her feel unsafe. And I'm like, I'm watching that. If you felt unsafe, then, I mean, why were you so aggressive also? Why weren't you backing away from somebody that you felt threatening? Plus, you're in front of Capitol Hill with all these cameras. Do you really think this dude is just gonna, drop a DDT on you in front of everybody? Is that what you think is about to happen? Well, you think he's gonna wait for you in the parking lot or something? I mean, but we got to remember, this is not a very
she's filing for
person.
divorce, and keep in mind she's filed for divorce, so she's on the prowl. She's on the prowl. She's like, I don't know what he's doing, and I'm out here like living my best life, and I have to pretend that I don't like this guy. But look, this is also, they can have a summit and they can have a private one-on-one chat to talk about how they move forward together. Yeah, she's gonna be Marjorie Taylor Greene gonna be drinking Bowman. Sorry, I'm just saying.
I mean, that didn't even factor in. Hey, he said it, not me. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, I did.
It is possible. It is very, very possible. I mean, I don't put it past, but
her husband doesn't want to. Her husband doesn't want to be divorced, but she's ready for a divorce.
Oh yeah, Chris.
I did read that earlier.
She said saying the N word. He called her. I guess somewhere in there he called her a white supremacist, and she said that's the equivalent of being called the N word.
Oh wow! See, Doug, you can already imagine it. He gonna be dominating her, talking about who's a white supremacist now. Like, yeah, it's gonna be bad, bro.
They probably would have. I mean, it probably would just be some very super racist sex talk in the bedroom with them two.
Oh, you already know it's gonna be bad. Like, you better not let Messi catch you. You better not let Messi catch you seeing do what you're doing to me.
It'd be like. It'll be like, yeah, my black king, give it to me, black king.
Yo, you already know it's gonna be the worst.
It would be horrible. It would be horrible. Yo, our brother and comrade, what is up, Steve? I see Liz is in there. Hey, babe.
What's happening, fellas?
Yeah, we're talking a little bit about Marjorie Taylor Greene and the Bowman back and forth beef.
Oh, this is about to be a porn. This is about to be a porn between MTG and JB.
What can they shop George Floyd's head over Jamal Bowman?
Oh God, damn.
Can they do that? Can it be Big Floyd versus Marjorie?
No,
Taylor?
we're not doing Big Floyd. Well, they'll do it the in memoriam after the main shit.
Gates of Heaven in the background, in the green screen with the stairway.
Wow. You see what Yipper said here?
What? WAP is playlist. I'm telling you it is.
That's
and I think sometimes
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
That must be on Yipper's playlist too.
Dude, Marjorie Taylor Greene knows the words to all kinds of 90s gangster rap, and she doesn't self-edit at all. Anytime the M word comes up, she rocks it. She does it like that little kid in that one video. It just leans into it.
Oh, she says it with her chest.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
See, the funny thing is, I mean, we all know that these people are playing parts, they're playing a role, and okay, I'll be serious for like 2 seconds. You guys really want to know what I think the reason why they're doing this and making all this fuss? Because somebody has to distract from what's going on right now in Bakhmut right now. Right now in Bakhmut, the Ukrainians are getting their asses handed to them. And they're trying to find a way to funnel more and more money to them and hold up this failing operation. That's the reason why now with this whole G7 stuff, they're trying to, get more sanctions going. And they don't want to, like the Wagner group just came out like, yo, we took Bakhmut. And they just want to kind of, man, let's just bury this whole, and let's go talk about, whatever Jamal Bowman is doing. And now, don't get me wrong, I do think Desantis is doing this thing is a thing, but I think that they're promoting all this stuff to take focus away from all that stuff. Because they're always, it's always a bait and switch. It's always a diversion going on. They're always showing you one thing while they're doing something with a hidden hand over here.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, anytime they trot out Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's because they need a smoke bomb. Same thing with AOC. It's or anybody else in the squad. They've got their rotating heroes and their rotating villains.
Yep.
They can, call it a Senate hearing or a congressional hearing at any point, let a little bit of truth leak out. They could do the thing where they did with the Durham investigation, where they're like, oh, yeah, no, the Department of Justice and the FBI are totally corrupt. They committed crimes internationally on this thing, and we're not going to do shit about it.
Mm-hmm. What'd you get?
Oh, the mosquito was in here. The mosquito was in here. I caught him live. I just wanted to show you I got Mr. Miyagi reflexes with my hands minus the chopsticks. I don't even need the chopsticks, Mr. Miyagi. How about that?
Pluck its wing out of the air with my fingers.
So you came in perfect time. I mean, we got rid of got the distraction story out of the way. Everybody's talking about it, so it had to be talked about. But the kind of story which I kind of really want to focus a little bit more on, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this too, and especially since Chris is here. I mean, the whole Desantis stuff. For one, I don't understand this guy's game plan. Is it to try to pick a fight with every possible person in Florida and think that that's going to get him to the right of Trump to get the votes? I don't know, because this is one thing which a lot of these hardcore conservatives or right wing don't really think this out. Granted, they might be really hawks on the whole immigration things, but being somebody who lived in Florida, I know what really keeps things moving out there. And if you decide that you're going to get rid of all the undocumented, then you are going to have to raise the wages on those jobs. No ifs and buts about it, because you are not getting Americans to work those jobs for the rates. And so, and then also the fact of the whole truckers thing, which are deciding, okay, we're not going to go to Florida. I remember, and Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but Georgia did something like this maybe about, 8 years ago or so. And they had to kind of like secretly walk that back and then make this program where they literally went to Mexico and got the workers and would bring them up seasonally and then take them back because they could not find people that would work out in the fields.
Killer Mike had a whole tirade about that when it was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that pretty well. And there was even like Stacey Abrams got dragged into it a little bit. There were a couple of also ran candidates from that point that were running for office that made a big fuss about it. But I don't think DeSantis has a coherent policy at all. I think he was promised a lot. And then because Trump's still around, he knows he's not going to get it. He hasn't even announced he's running for president officially yet. Florida, what's going on in Florida with immigration regard, just for a moment, to show you where he's all over the place in general, and then we can get back to it. He hasn't even announced he's running for president yet. We all know he is, but he shuffled his like campaign team around twice now. There's been a whole retooling of that. He doesn't have a cogent philosophy because he's just a factory Republican. The only reason he's this famous right now is because of COVID. And they could take a partisan political stance. And by the way, like, that didn't have anything to do with COVID.
And Steve, let me tell you guys, right? The fields out here, the whole week since they enacted that shit, bro. Let me tell you, it's a ghost town out there. Ain't nothing being picked. Ain't nothing moving. Nobody's working anything. So again, the real effect is going to be on people like myself who do live here, who consume these products. Like, the price is about to shoot up ridiculous on everything. And again, of course, it's going to be on all the shit that you need to buy, right? You want fresh veggies, you know, and things like that. So it's just ridiculous.
And I mean, it's that kind of thing you're finding all over the place in terms of food supply, in terms the whole plan with Agenda 2030 is to get anywhere that can produce food into different agricultural zones and then districts based around those zones. And so they're trying to make food hubs. They're trying to make energy producing areas, shit like that. And part of that is going to be forcing out a whole bunch of people from a whole bunch of farmland, because the big point is to get everybody into mega cities. So as soon as you can push the population away from each other and into those, just kind of have random access of all of the rural areas, then you can produce whatever kind of food you want that's going to have whatever in it. And you're not going to have any individual voices of like any farmers, even anybody that's in the field. You usually don't find out about how toxic this shit these people are spraying until a whole bunch of pickers wind up dead, you know, or wind up with like a hardy case of mesothelioma or whatever it is. And so you're going to eliminate all of those people. You're going to eliminate anybody's voice that would be able to raise any alarm about any of this shit. You're going to push people into cities, and you're going to run just, I mean, mind-numbingly stupid politicians who are great with scripts and can smile their way through their own hypocrisies, can smile their way through planned failures, and act like it's somebody else's fault the whole time.
You want a little bit of fun? I saw an interesting video earlier, and y'all want to hear the conservative reaction? Well, just one conservative, because I tell you, TikTok, you got to weed through it, but definitely some entertaining shit over there. Let me show you guys this real quick. Let me see. This channel here, they cover a lot of the TikTok stuff, especially when it has to do with like race stuff. Let's see where. Let's play here.
In the state,
truck drivers are now calling for a boycott.
Actually, let's back it up a little bit. Where's the lady who was talking the trash? Because y'all need to hear the conservative woman. There's let's start here.
Illegally, DeSantis implemented the rules after the Title 42 policy ended at the U.S.-Mexico border. The new law will go into effect on July 1st. Posts calling for a boycott of the state went viral as soon as DeSantis signed the law. Immigration advocates say the new laws target the already vulnerable population in the state.
Truck drivers are now calling for a boycott of the state of Florida. Latin American drivers from all over the country are coming together to boycott. Approximately 20% of truck drivers are Hispanic, and most of them are independent contractors, meaning they get to decide what jobs they do, not a company. The effects of a boycott like this would devastate Florida. Florida agriculture is a $7.7 billion a year industry. They literally produce almost 40% of the entire country's citrus. $400 million in strawberries. Do you know how strawberries are harvested? By hand. And who do you really think is picking those strawberries? I give it 3 weeks. 3 weeks before Florida's economy completely starts to collapse. 100% support y'all, though. Let us know how we can help.
Well, those are the videos, you guys, and this news is all over social media as we speak. And for some reason, some white people are pretty pissed about this.
Here we go.
Check this out.
Latino truckers are boycotting going to Florida, and some European Americans are not taking it well. Please watch.
This article just popped up on my feed. Apparently, there are some Hispanic truck workers that want to boycott delivering food and necessities to stores over Desantis' new immigration law. Let me tell you this, truck drivers. Go ahead, try us Americans. We will take your jobs. I will gladly step up and deliver the goods. Right after I'm done with my job, I will work overnight just to prove that Americans will not be broken. You could continue your dumb BS. It's not going to work. We will band together and make sure that everything gets well taken care of. And by the way, you can go back to Mexico or Cuba or Venezuela, exactly where you just came from. If you don't appreciate living in the America that we created, you came here illegally. Now you suffer the goddamn consequences. Time for you to go. I guarantee you we could have a line of patriots in a matter of hours willing to deliver goods to whatever store it needs to be delivered to, whether it's through our personal vehicles.
All right, Ruby. Have a good night, Ruby.
Make it happen. Don't mess with Americans.
Don't you mess with Americans. How does she say that with a straight face?
So that's just a little snippet of the video, and I recommend y'all go check out the whole thing.
And Marcus,
he responded to her.
Huh? And Marcus, that's a New York. She's from New York.
I can tell. That's what I'm saying. You got Jersey Shore up there fucking talking about don't come to Florida. Our governor is like, bitch, you're not even from there.
Yo,
we can hear it.
You know what? She's probably if she is in Florida, she's a recent transplant because
she's from Long Island.
Sounds like she just got off.
Yes, she's Jersey fucking Shore. That's definitely Jersey Shore right there. I was like, JWoww is really acting crazy.
But you know what? Let her do that when she goes to her Trader Joe's or her Whole Foods or any of her other designer supermarkets, and the things that they want that are not there, or the products they do have that are 2-3 times marked up, 2-3 times higher, marked up, then she can shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Then you better go start getting a truck and start delivering shit. Go get your knees dirty. Go get your elbows dirty. You know what I mean? Go start planting shit in the field somewhere. But until then,
you got to remember, it's the trucker's part that you're talking about. You need a CDL for one. For two, what are you you're gonna get off your 8-hour job and you're gonna get in a truck and then drive to Arizona and pick up something and come back? I mean, how is that going to work?
Correct.
We're going to see her TikTok in about 3-4 months. And she's going to be like, what the fuck do you mean it's $8 for some fucking lettuce over here? This is ridiculous. Somebody go find us some illegal Mexicans, get them out there in the field, get a pick of that shit. We need, the amnesty for these hard work, the flip her whole script, man. Because she's not going to go to a farmer's market. She's not going to, they're not going to do anything. There's not going to be a huge, she didn't call for, holy shit, you guys, it's end of May. It won't be great, but if we all plant shit now, blah, blah, blah. Band together by growing food and fucking liberate yourselves from a giant fucking monolithic structure that's feeding you shit in the first place. I don't know. I
mean, that's the only thing that you really can do to kind of avoid that. But as far as the economy as a whole in that state, here's the thing, and I got to break it to conservatives out there. Because of the way this country is ran on laissez-faire capitalism so hardcore, and it's worked on making things as cheap as possible, paying workers as little as possible, and as much going to the shareholders, you basically rely so much on undocumented, underpaid labor that you just can't, I'm just going to cut off and just stop instantly. It doesn't work that way. You're going to literally have to raise wages. And since even if you did raise the wages, because these companies are not going to eat the costs in any way, shape, or form, because they got to make sure every dollar goes to the top for the shareholders, what's going to happen is price is going to raise. So if you raise the wages, the price is going to go up. Therefore, a cyclical thing, which is not going to happen. And basically, you guys have kind of boxed yourself into that corner because they're not going to raise. There's no other workaround that's going to happen. So the system, in order for it to keep working the way it's going to work, I hate to say it this way, but you're still going to have to rely on undocumented workers.
Marcus, the Lomachenko fight is starting now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys know.
I ain't got pay-per-view, so I won't be watching it.
Oh, Vasily Lomachenko, the Ukrainian ballet guy. But
no, I just don't have pay-per-view. So I can't.
Oh,
I ain't got money for all that.
He's fighting Devin Haney. It just so happens that I really like Lomachenko, and his ass can fucking box.
And he's gonna lose though. He's gonna lose to Devin Haney though.
Haney is the favor. He's the favorite in the fight,
and he's gonna win.
But Haney should not. Oh, thank you, Steve. You're my man.
Got you, doggy. Got you, doggy.
Thank you, Steve. You my guy, dog.
What we'll do is we're gonna go ahead and at this point.
Oh, that's right. You missed the Vegas.
We gotta switch over. We're gonna have to switch over to Rockfin because I'm sure.
Well, Marcus, you do whatever you got to do, Marcus. I've been dying to see this.
Everybody, follow us over to Rockfin.
Here,
Thank
man,
you. Do whatever you got to do.
I'll make sure you got the.
Come to Rockfin, everybody. We out of here.
All right, we out of here.
We'll see you on Rockfin.
So,